In the era of Netflix and Prime, when you take the pain to go out and eat, when you discover that the food is utterly bad, don't you feel frustrated to the level where you start questioning why this restaurant even exists? Or how many times have you been embarrassed and awkward when you took your girlfriend out for dinner and it turned out to be a disaster? Well, to save you from such bad experiences in the future, we're here to disclose the most awful restaurants that should be shuttered. So stay tuned if you want to know which place shouldn't be on your list if you're again planning for another feast. So firstly, we have number 1, Death Row Diners, London. Well, the name itself would have sounded very strange to you. The idea behind creating this restaurant is equally bizarre. Those who have visited this place in the past have complained that the ambiance of this restaurant is highly unpleasant, especially in the pictures of death row convicts hung on the wall of the restaurant. The people's request for their last meal sparked the creation of this eatery. The concept behind this establishment of this restaurant is that the diners consume their meals as if they were their last. Visitors to this eatery are frequently trembling as the realization dawns on them of how their last meal may have felt. However, not all of them. Not everyone is convinced by its negative connotations, as people continue to visit this restaurant due to their fantasies. This restaurant in the capital city of London gives an experience of life in bars. The restaurant is located in the penitentiary, and the website invites clients to expect to be charged, sentenced, searched, and frisked while they spend the night with 80 other convicts. For $75, this restaurant's jail cooks will make and serve you a 5-course meal based on the most intriguing and popular death row final suppers. Finally, according to the website, you may enjoy the concept of the final dinner without the unpleasant implementation. Number 2, Colony Cafe, Miami. This restaurant is often called the worst restaurant on Yelp. Some might find this restaurant good, but the majority believe that the restaurant doesn't even deserve a single rating. The reviewers claim that their service and food are both too bad, and some of the diners had to be taken to the hospital immediately after having food. The hygiene at this place is also not maintained, whether it's the kitchen of the restaurant or the bathroom of the same place. People going there have been heard to be ridiculed and abused by the staff, and not to forget they charge a good amount of money from the diners, even after providing so low quality of service. Number 3, Ruby Tuesday. As a health-conscious individual, you'd want to know exactly what's in your meals. An ordinary person, out of curiosity, examines the contents of every packet of chips or bottle of drink he or she purchases. So would you like to go to a restaurant if these details are cut off? Ruby Tuesday is one of those. The sugar quantity, fat percentage, and other parameters are lacking, and this lack of information causes the consumer to avoid meals there. Those who have tried eating at the establishments have reported heart and blood pressure difficulties, as well as gastrointestinal troubles in certain cases. Overall, this restaurant has not shown to be healthy, and as a result of their failure to produce high-quality meals, they're steadily losing consumers. After eating a shellfish-based dinner, a 35-year-old man passed away. He had requested a chicken dish but received the wrong food. According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, he was offered crab on a dish, and after eating it, he fell into anaphylactic shock. Ruby Tuesday might have dealt with the situation in a variety of ways, but they chose the worst, blaming the client for his death. We're aware and highly sensitive to the fact that some of our customers have allergies to particular foods, and our menus identify the substance of the dishes we offer, they said in an official statement to the family. According to Adage, this didn't help their already failing image and the fact that they didn't seem sympathetic. It didn't go down well, to say the least. Customers flocked to social media to criticize Ruby Tuesday's response to the tragedy, with the victim's widow expressing her wish that the firm would own its error and ensure that it never occurred again. Number 4, Cheesecake Factory. Just like Ruby Tuesday, this restaurant also likes to keep the content of its foods incognito, which is perhaps leaving a very bad impression on its customers. The explicit details of the menu are expected for a variety of reasons. A few years ago, when McDonald's announced that it would not be using antibiotic-treated poultry anymore, this was expected to be the turning point in the field of the food industry, and this to a certain level was correct also. Soon after this assertion, Subway and several other restaurants announced plans to stop serving drugged-up poultry. The reason behind this is that antibiotic-resistant germs can emerge from drugged meat, resulting in an estimated 23,000 human fatalities and 2 million illnesses each year in the United States alone. Furthermore, there is significant consumer demand for antibiotic-free meat, so it's quite perplexing that so many restaurants continue to serve it, and the restaurants, especially those who are reluctant to disclose the contents that they're putting in food, unfortunately end up giving the impression to the customers that the quality of the food or the health of the customers is being compromised at such places, and that seldom scares the eaters to try such places, and unfortunately Cheesecake Factory is one of those. So this restaurant is not very far from being closed off. Even its website doesn't carry any proper detail. Most fast food and casual restaurant companies provide both healthy and unhealthy alternatives. However, some are more hazardous to one's health than others. Consumer Reports just revealed which are the worst. The Cheesecake Factory is the unhealthiest chain restaurant of them all. It's devoid of whole grains, has huge quantities, and one dish contains double the daily sodium guideline. The Cheesecake Factory, declared the unhealthiest chain restaurant by CR, boasts a huge menu. If you exclusively consume Skinnylicious selections, you'll be eating a cleaner, healthier dinner overall. However, according to Consumer Reports, the business did not do well in any of the 5 areas examined, earning a fair overall rating. The Cheesecake Factory received a 4 for the number of fruit and vegetable alternatives available. They also did well in the beverage category, receiving a 3. However, when it came to saturated fat, they received a 2. They only received a 1 in the whole grains and sodium categories. The classic cheesecake choices aren't listed in this ranking because there isn't a dessert option. The standard menu also provides a vast array of vegetarian alternatives. CR adds in response to the decision. However, 2/3 of the recipes contain at least 2,300 mg of sodium, which surpasses the daily limit, and saturated fat average 30 grams. Number 5. Dennys. Though this restaurant has been rapidly trying to enhance its quality of food and its overall service, it's missing out on one very important factor: its policies towards using antibiotics. This restaurant is aiming to serve cage-free eggs by 2026 at all places, but apparently they still serve antibiotic-laced beef. If they don't frame proper policies concerning the antibiotics in food, they're likely to be shut down soon. Quality, environment, sanitation, training, and other aspects of Dennys have always been hit or miss. It all comes down to management and the franchisee's owners' dedication to all of these things. Dennys used to be much better about maintaining consistency when 85% of the locations were controlled by the company. But as they sold off their sites to franchisees over time, we believe the quality has deteriorated. Consider what the franchisees are up against as an example. For one thing, their profit margins are razor thin, competition is always fierce, and food and labor prices continue to rise. Furthermore, they may be financially constrained when they first begin as a franchise, and things only grow worse from there. Building upkeep is an important consideration because many of the facilities were established in the mid-1970s. Maintaining the 40-year-old equipment and buildings will cost a lot of money. Franchisees may begin to exert pressure on management to reduce costs. However, there are just 3 areas where they may save money, which are usually referred to as the Big 3 that are food costs, labor costs, and non-input costs. Number 6. Church's Chicken. This restaurant in Texas in the US has not given a very great experience to its customers, it seems. When you usually hear about the chicken wings, chicken grill, or chicken popcorn, your mouth starts watering, right? But the same may not be the case if you taste chicken from the church. Well, there's a reason for it. Most of the customers that have visited this restaurant are not willing to recommend the same to others based on the taste that is being cooked in the kitchen of the church's chicken. Well, the condemnation of this restaurant doesn't stop there, as it's also been criticized for its unhygienic maintenance, overgrilled food, and poor service. These remarks are bringing this eatery to its end. A client had this to say about Church's Chicken. Church's Chicken is a takeout restaurant featuring a walk-up and drive-through window. When he had made a stop on his way a while back home, he believed the worker couldn't care less about my company, and the meal was standard fast food fare. He said the fried chicken strips at this stop tasted like he was biting into a living chicken. Maybe it wasn't fully cooked. Maybe it hadn't been chilled and cooked correctly. However, it was inedible according to him. Number 7. CC's Pizza. CC's Pizza is another on the list that should be closed. The reason is its taste, quality, and cleanliness of the dining place. All these seem to be highly compromised. You would have eaten pizza at least once in your lifetime. That would have been sufficient to make you realize that you cannot have pizza if it's been served to you cold after being cooked in the oven and kept waiting. It becomes soggy, as well as the taste becomes difficult to bear. Well, that is how pizza at CC's Pizza tastes, mostly as has been reviewed by its customers. With abundant places to offer great taste of pizza without the required hygiene of the food center at the same time, it's going to be difficult for the company to continue. As it is explicit since the inception of this pizza place, it is focused more on quantity rather than quality, which is likely to cost them throughout its course. Feedback on this restaurant has also not been very satisfying. One would find them disregarding it. Number 8. Subway. You didn't expect Subway in this list of restaurants, did you? Not your fault though. With such a huge number of customers and the availability at most of the locations, it's quite difficult to question why Subway should be closed. The reason behind this could be attributed to the number of suits that it's undergone in the past few years, starting with the virus of hepatitis that it led to by its food. It's also been sued for its falsely claimed size of the sandwiches. There were issues with the franchise relations as well for a long time. The list of claims and suits against Subway doesn't stop there. It's also been in the limelight for its controversy concerning paying VAT, trademark, and petition against the use of its ingredients in food, underpaid workers, and so much more. This is the reason why the number of customers is declining sharply. With such a downfall, Subway has also not taken efforts to improve its quality, which is surely going to be the cause of its absolute downfall in the near future. Number 9. Crystal. This eatery is a decades-old place and is famous mostly in the southeast part of the country. This too, like Subway, has undergone a slew of charges inflicted against it. Its quality has also been undermined over a period which has ultimately led to the closure of this restaurant and several other sites. With the quality of snacks that Crystal is serving right now, it can easily be taken over by various other food outlets in the country. This was brought up by a client concerning one of Crystal's chains. He couldn't get over how dirty Crystal was, and the place he visited was as filthy. He said he was concerned about what was inside the drink machine since it smelled like mildew. When he placed an order with chicken and requested the buns be steamed, all of the buns that were served and supposed to be steamed came out room temperature and visibly straight from the bag. Number 10. Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen is known for its frozen treats, but it seems it didn't like to be called so, and maybe therefore it decided to experiment. But it turned out to be a bad experience for them, as well as the customers going to the Dairy Queen. This restaurant started offering burgers and other similar kinds of snacks, which as per the reviewers are of bad taste and are made up of some weird stuff. The eateries have complained of food poisoning after having these burgers, which is a red flag for the restaurant. For this, they were charged some amount of compensation as well. Number 11. KFC. Many of you are probably sitting at KFC right now viewing this video. Please accept our apologies for the irony that we're about to create. But you might be astonished to learn that KFC has begun its downward spiral as well. It's impossible to be critical of a restaurant located in the heart of America. However, KFC is experiencing an increase in the number of negative reviews it receives, as well as a decrease in the number of consumers it attracts. Its goodwill is on the line as a result of the reviewers' concerns about cleanliness, food quality, and other issues. However, the situation has not yet worsened to that point. It's still on the verge of deterioration. So these were a few of the restaurants whose quality is declining day by day, and as the reviews suggest, they might be closed if they don't work on their eateries. That was all. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other videos. Until then, stay tuned.